In Lesson 6.5, we're going to continue working with data in line plots. And so go ahead and grab your math journal, a whiteboard marker, and let's start with a warm-up. I would like you to take these fractions and change them if they are a mixed number, like number 1. I want you to change this to an improper fraction. Remember, an improper fraction was where the numerator or the top number is larger than the denominator. If they are improper, you're going to figure out how many tens are in 111 and write the answer as a mixed number. Same thing with 163 eighths. You're going to change that to a mixed number. A mixed number is a whole number plus a fraction. So go ahead and solve for number 1, 2, and 3. Pause your video. One way that you can change 4 8/12 to an improper fraction is you can take the denominator, 12, times the whole number, which is 48, and add in the numerator. So you would get 56 twelfths. Another way to think about that is to change the 4 and add fractions that equal to 1. So 12 would equal 1. This would be 2. This would equal 3. And this is where you get it. 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 is 48. Plus the 8/12 that's already there gives you 56 twelfths. Number 2, how many tens are there in 111? 10 goes into 11 once. 10 goes into 11 once. And a remainder is 1. We write that on the top, the numerator. The denominator never changes. So 111 tenths is the same as 11 and 1/10. And how many eighths are there in 163? Well, 8 goes into 16 twice. 8 goes into 3 0 times. Our remainder is 3. Our denominator never changes. 20 and 3/8. We're going to go ahead and move into our math journal. We're continuing to work with line plots. Today we'll start on page 208. There are 3 different animal height line plots. So I have just included the first one, which is the emperor penguin heights. We're going to use that data to answer questions on page 209. So just be aware of that. Okay, 209. So it says use the data. So I'm on this is page 208. This is page 209. Use the data in the line plot and journal page 208 to find the typical height of a, and we're going to call this emperor penguin. Answer these questions to help you find the animal's typical height. Typical is what we would call average, also referred to as mean. Show your work in the space below. I'm going to allow you to use your calculator, so go ahead and do that. Number 1 says, what is the combined total of all the measurements shown on your animal's line plot? In order to do that, notice here we're starting at 41 inches, goes to 52, and in between would be like 41 and a half, 42 and a half, 43 and a half. So just be aware that for the sake of space, they don't write in the halves, but the halves do exist. In order to find the combined total, we have to add together 41, 41 and a half, 43, 43, 46 and a half, 46 and a half, 47 and a half, 47 and a half, 47 and a half. So I'm going to ask you, to go ahead and pause your video, add together the value of each one of these X's. Pause the video. Sometimes I will do it twice to make sure that I get the same answer twice. If not, then what I do is I go back and I make sure that I have it correct. So pause your video and add up the value of each one of those X's for the emperor penguin. When I added all of those together, I had 1,008 inches. Go ahead and fill that in for the emperor penguin. Number 2. How many data points are shown on the line plot? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 data points or 21 X's. Write a number model that shows how to even out the data to find the typical height of your animal. My line is kind of missing here, so I'll just write it to the left, but you write it on the line. I would take 1,008 combined inches, divide that by 21 to get the average or the typical height of our emperor penguin. I'm going to move to page 209 on my next screen. Whoops. We better go ahead and solve for number 3. I don't think it actually asks us to solve it. So let me go to the next page. The typical height of a blank is about, and we're going to put in, we'll just put in penguin. Remember, we took 1,008 divided by 21 X's or 21 data points. So on your calculator, take 1,008 divided by 21, and the answer is about 48 inches. Number 5. Fill in the name of your animal and circle the word that completes the sentence based upon what you found. A typical blank is shorter or taller than a typical 5th grader. Do you remember what our height was for our 5th grader the other day? I don't remember. I think it was 50 some inches. So we're going to say a typical penguin is shorter than the typical 5th grade, because we were like 50 some inches. I don't remember that from yesterday's lesson. Let's move on to page 210. It says for problems 1 through 4, write a number model using a letter for the unknown, then solve. Hannah bought a package of 12 pens. She took 2/3 of the pens to school. How many pens did Hannah take to school? So she took 2/3 of means to multiply of 12 pens. So we're going to multiply straight across. 2 times 12 is 24. They were in 3 equal groups. So how many 3s are there in 24? There are 8. 8 pens. Number 2. Craig is walking to a grocery store that is 3/4 mile away. When he was halfway to the store, he ran into his friend Greg. How far had Craig walked when he saw Greg? So he's halfway. Half of 3/4 of means to multiply. So halfway of the 3/4 equals how far he walked. I'm going to go ahead and multiply straight across. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 4 is 8. He was 3/8 of a mile into his walk. Number 3, Lamar is researching postage stamps from different years. One stamp measured 7/8 of an inch by 2/3 of an inch. What is the area? Remember, to figure out area, we take length times width. Area is the amount inside. So we would take 7/8 times 2/3 to get our area. 7, multiply straight across. 7 times 2 is 14. 8 times 3 is 24. 14/24 inches squared. Phoebe's class has filled 3/4 of a box with food donations. The class wants to collect 4 times as much by the end of the food drive. How many boxes does Phoebe's class want to fill? Well, we're going to take the 4 boxes she wants to fill times 3/4 of a box that's already filled. We're going to go ahead and multiply straight across. 4 times 3 is 12. 12/4. So I'd ask myself, how many 4s are there in 12? There are 3. So Phoebe's class wants to fill 3 boxes. That's it for today.